With all the lead flying around, I gotta stay low and use my cover. Shadow!
Slate, I have a gunshot victim. No pulse. I need an ambulance immediately.
Roger that. We'll notify Hope General. Any ID?
Victim's name is Slate. Frank Slate. He's my dad.
Sorry, Jack.
I'd seen 100 bodies sprawled ugly in dark alleys and bright living rooms. But this one was different. This was my dad. The guy who looked me in the eye one day and told me he was innocent of the bad things he'd been accused of. And Augie Blatz had a regular room at the Den of Iniquity, a prime hotspot for criminals ever since the Flaming Mambo Lounge got struck by Italian lightning. It wasn't the sort of place you'd expect to find a beloved philanthropist like Augie Blatz. But then most people didn't know him like I did. He may have the city fooled with his goodwill money thrown at public parks and playgrounds. But apparently my dad was the only one interested in where that money came from. Drugs mostly. Drugs and racketeering.
Jack, what are you doing here?
I could ask you the same thing.
Hey, working for your dad is fine and all, but he hasn't been able to cover payroll lately. So, I had to pick up a little scratch on the side. You won't tell him, will you? It'd probably kill him.
Don't worry about it. He's already dead.
What?
Dead.
What?
Where's Augie?
In the parlor. You think Augie had him killed?
No. Don't know, but I plan on finding out.
Wait. You know they won't let you back there.
I'll manage.
Hold on. Let me. I'll distract the bouncers for you. I'll distract the bouncers for you.
That's right. Atta girl, keep it up. That's my healthy. One more. Here I come, Augie. Not the most subtle way to get across, but hey. If I can hotwire this truck, I can use it to blast through that fence. This doesn't look like a union meeting. You boys should take up your grievance with City Hall. Shadow, go see what you can do. Attaboy.